I knew I should have lit this thing on fire when I had the chance. Hi y'all, SnarkyJay cosplay here. So unless you're living under a rock, you probably have already heard that the new feature film for theatrical release, The Mandalorian and Grogu, will be starting production this year. I have so many thoughts on this, but let's get started one step at a time. So Jon Favreau is in fact directing this, but of course, even though we've been waiting for her to get fired, Kathleen Kennedy is still producing, so we all know that this is probably going to be a dumpster fire. First of all, The Mandalorian and Grogu sounds like the companion book that you buy for your 3-year-old that's learning how to read so that they'll eventually get Star Wars when they get older. But we have to look at it this way, right? The Mandalorian is a cash cow, and Disney knows that. The Mandalorian and Grogu are a safe bet, and Disney is well aware of that. You put that little green guy on anything, and it'll sell. So after Disney was being hit with a barrage of backlash after the director of the new Rey movie stressed that she likes to make men uncomfortable, after that was unearthed, of course, they had to try and save themselves and be like, hey, I know we're being misandrist as right now, but did I mention we're making a Grogu movie? It's a lifeline to try and keep us all paying for Star Wars. Because hey, people at Star Wars might say they hate you, men, but I mean, if your daughter asks you to go take her to see the Baby Yoda movie, are you really gonna look at her and say, no? I probably would because I'm an asshole, but I don't have kids, so. But this is about much more than the little green guy that they've sold billions of. This is a testament to just how lost Star Wars really is. See, Mando had a fantastic arc. At the beginning, we got some really cool bounty hunter shit, which scratched a very Boba Fett shaped itch, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And not only did we get this bounty hunter aspect of Din Djarin's personality, but we also got to see something that we didn't see in other bounty hunters. We saw personal growth. We saw this badass in a big helmet learn to love and care about something other than himself. We saw him get attached to this little green guy, basically form a codependent relationship, and then we had to see him say goodbye and let the little guy go in one of the single most heart-wrenching scenes in any Star Wars media to this day. And that right there was a perfect place to either wrap up the story of The Mandalorian or send the guy back out into the galaxy as a bounty hunter, as maybe a vigilante helping people who were less powerful than he after he saw the vulnerability and love that he could get from this little green guy. Had he gone on either a cool guy journey, now with heart, or just fallen off the face of the earth, that would have been spectacular. But that's not what we got. Disney was not done filling landfills with 2-pack Mando and Grogu Funkos, so of course they brought Kermit the Bummer back for season 3. Also that Mando could spend the entirety of the season doing 3 things we hadn't seen him do in the previous 2. 1, getting his ass kicked by literally every person he encountered. 2, babysitting the lean green money machine like an absolute nitwit and f***ing up somehow everything that came in his path. And 3, being made to look like an absolute idiot so that Bo-Katan could look that much cooler by comparison because now Mando is incompetent and infinitely worse at everything than she is. And see, the reason why I can't forgive this is because my theory, and the theory of a lot of people, was that the Boba Fett show sucked because Mando was good. See, if we look at the history behind The Mandalorian in the original show, and I'm realizing I'm starting to feel a whole lot like Charlie in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia right now.
So I go up to Pepe's office, and what do I find out, man? What do I find out? There is no Pepe Sylvia. The man does not exist, okay? So I decided, oh shit, buddy, I gotta dig a little deeper. There's no Pepe Sylvia, you gotta be kidding me! I got boxes full of Pepe!
We're gonna find Pepe Sylvia or I'm getting therapy. Basically, all of Boba Fett's badass motherfucker DNA was stolen from him and put into Din Djarin. So of course, when they made the book of Boba Fett, all they could do was make him a pacifist grandpa sitting on his ass and being cared for by his much cooler home nurse Fennec Shand. And I think for a while we all said, well, we're gonna have to struggle with weak sauce Fett over here because they gave all the coolness to Din. But now they've turned The Mandalorian into a nanny, so what's the point? See, the era of badass men in Star Wars is now gone. The time for cool gunslingers and badass helmets has passed. Now we live in the time of couch potato Fett and babysitting extraordinaire Din Djarin. After the mockery that they turned the Mandalorian into, which in my opinion was the last remaining shred of Star Wars DNA remaining in any project with a Star Wars label on it, Kathleen Kennedy and everybody else producing that show basically just tore it all out and said, you know what, this is the Bo-Katan show, this guy's useless, he's dumb, and every other scene just needs to be a promo for the Funko that we're gonna sell of the little green guy. Oh, look, he's eating cookies. Oh my goodness, he's in the car seat. God, he did a flip. Oh my God, he threw up in the back. Grogu is a soulless merch factory, and that's exactly what happened to the Mandalorian. There's no longer like this amazing borderline father and son dynamic that should have eventually just been like father and like cool nephew later, because he definitely should have gone with Luke and trained to be a Jedi instead of just being carried around by the Mandalorian. I just honestly, I don't even have it in me to talk about this in a sane way anymore, because this is just such a soulless repetition of Disney's bullshit. It's just trashing everything that mattered about the original trilogy, about the original characters we loved, and just sucking the life force out of them until there's nothing left. The Mandalorian and Grogu will go into production later this year. We don't have a slated release year for it yet, but what I do know is this. The Mandalorian and Grogu will be yet another soulless cash grab for Kathleen Kennedy and her creatively bankrupt cronies to line their pockets with and laugh at all the fans that they've been insulting since Disney acquired Star Wars. And that's all from me. I've been SnarkyJay. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For more SnarkyJay, be sure to check me out on Instagram, and if you'd like to support my content creation to get access to some fabulous photo shoot sets in the process, please be sure to check out and subscribe to my Patreon. The support really helps me and helps this channel, and I would really appreciate it. I will add links to both of those in the description below, and let me know your thoughts on The Mandalorian and Grogu in the comments below.